Red Bull have been in and around F1 and various other motorsports for years before entering as a Formula 1 team in 2005. They were a key sponsor for drivers and riders across motorsports such as MotoGP, DTM and WRC, along with sponsorships in F1. One key F1 sponsorship that comes to mind for me is their sponsorship with Sauber in the late 90s and early noughties, before taking the plunge and becoming their own team in 2005. They then bought Minardi in 2006 and they became Toro Rosso. Since then, the main team has enjoyed much success, especially since signing Adrian Newey as chief designer for the team. The main team has won to date 4 drivers and constructors titles and has been one of the top teams in F1 for nearly a decade, while the Toro Rosso team has been the proving ground for up and coming Red Bull backed talent, producing future race winners and world champions for the main team. But of recent they have had a major habit of being F1's equivalent of the Hunger Games, due to their ruthless nature of chopping and changing drivers due to their performances. I've always wanted to know what some of those drivers are up to now and how being a Red Bull backed driver affected their career afterwards. So, hi, I'm Owen Quenby and this is Where Are They Now? Red Bull and Toro Rosso drivers. David Coulthard, one of the 2 drivers who joined the team for its debut in Australia 2005. David had a successful career leading up to this point, with 13 Grand Prix wins with McLaren and Williams before joining Red Bull. In 2005 he matched his 2004 points tally of 24 points. During his 4 years with the Milton Keynes base squad, he scored the team's first podium finish in Monaco, forcing team principal Christian Horner to jump into a swimming pool looking like a stripper Superman. David picked up one more podium for the team in 2008 before retiring from F1 at the end of 2008. Since F1, David did 3 seasons of DTM between 2010 and 2012, driving for Muka Motorsport, finishing with a best championship standing of 15th in 2012. He's more known for, since F1 retirement, for being a pundit and commentator for BBC and Channel 4 for their F1 coverage, and as recently, W Series coverage. He has also co-founded a production company called Whisper Films with TV presenter Jake Humphrey, which is a production company used by Channel 4 for his motorsports coverage. Christian Klein. The other driver that drove in the team's debut weekend in 2005 was Christian. Klein was entering his second season in F1 after his debut season with the preceding team, Jaguar. Despite being contractually obliged to sit out 4 races that year, he still had a solid year with a best finish of 5th in China. In 2006, he failed to crack on compared to his more experienced teammate, Coulthard, and was dropped with 3 rounds to go. Following Red Bull, the Austrian was test driver for Honda and BMW Sauber in 2007 and 2008 respectively, before driving for the now defunct HRT in 3 Grand Prix in 2010. Outside of F1, he has competed at the 24 Hours of Le Mans multiple times for various teams such as Peugeot, who he picked up a podium with in 2008, and Aston Martin, as well as competing in various other sports car races. He last raced for the Emil Frey Lexus team in the Blancpain GT series in 2018, alongside serving in the Austrian Armed Forces, in which he joined in 2017. Vitantonio Liuzzi, the 3rd driver to participate in a GP in 2005 for Red Bull. The Italian completed 4 races that season with a best finish of 8th at Imola before he moved to the new for 2006 Toro Rosso team. During his 2 years with Toro Rosso, he picked up 2 more points finishes before being dropped at the end of 2007. After coming out of the Red Bull system, he became a test driver for Force India in 2008, which then led to a drive for the final 5 rounds of the 2009 season, replacing the Ferrari-bound Giancarlo Fisichella. He maintained his seat for 2010, picking up a points tally of 21 that year and finishing 15th in the championship, before moving to HRT for 2011 and leaving the sport at the end of that year. Since leaving F1, he has competed in the Italian-based Superstar Series for 2 seasons, before a combined effort of Super GT and Super Formula in 2014. He has also had sporadic appearances in the WEC and 5 starts in Formula E for the Trulli GP team. He was last seen racing in the International GT Open Championship in 2017. Scott Speed. In 2006, the Californian became the first American driver since Michael Andretti in 1993. But unlike his name suggests, he never got up to speed with F1. Speed had no points finishes in his 28 F1 starts and was dropped halfway through the 2007 season after a year and a half at Toro Rosso. After F1, he plied his trade in NASCAR between 2008 and 2013, with 4 top 10s during this period in the top class. This included a career best finish of 5th at Talladega in 2009 on board the 82 Team Red Bull Toyota. He also won a race in NASCAR's 3rd tier, the Truck Series at Dover in 2008. And after NASCAR, Speed went into Rallycross. Since then, he has been a dominant figure in the North American Rallycross scene, winning 3 straight global Rallycross titles between 2015 and 2017, and the first America's Rallycross title in 2018 with Andretti Rallycross. He currently competes for Subaru Team USA in the America's Rallycross Championship. Robert Doornbos, the lesser known Dutchman to drive for the Red Bull team, completed the final 3 GPs of the 2006 season. For the team, he finished 12th twice and 13th in the other race before leaving at the end of the year. After F1, Doornbos competed in Champ Car in 2007, finishing 3rd in the championship, with 2 wins that year at Mont Tremblant and San Jose. Following this, Robert competed in IndyCar in 2009, finishing 16th in the championship. He then moved on to the short-lived Super League Formula Championship in 2010, and finishing his racing career in 2011. After racing, he has become an F1 pundit for Ziggo Sport in the Netherlands, as well as co-founding a company that produces devices that look like they should be on a F1 2014 car. Mark Webber, the Australian who was the last signing to date for Red Bull to be brought in outside of Toro Rosso, joined the team in 2007. The Red Bull years ended up being the best years of Webber's career by some distance in F1, winning his first race at the 2009 German Grand Prix after overcoming a drive-through penalty. 8 more wins, and it could have been 9 if a certain German colleague had obeyed multi-21. And 42 career podiums later, Mark retired from F1 at the end of the 2013 season, with his last win being the 2012 British Grand Prix. He helped the team to 4 straight Constructors titles and finished 3rd in the championship 3 out of his last 4 seasons in the sport. After F1 retirement, Mark joined Porsche's LMP1 program in the WEC. He stayed for 3 seasons, picking up the 2015 WEC Championship along the way, before retiring from motorsport altogether at the end of the 2016 season. Since his racing retirement, he has been a regular pundit for Channel 4's coverage of F1 starting in 2017. Sebastian Vettel. Moving on to that German colleague, Seb joined the Red Bull umbrella of teams in 2007, replacing Scott Speed for the final 7 races that year. He picked up a remarkable 4th place in China, and the following season, the German had a breakout season, after the team moved to the STR3 from Monaco onwards. This includes a spectacular first pole and victory for Toro Rosso at the 2008 sodden wet Italian Grand Prix, and picking up a 4th place at that year's Brazilian Grand Prix, which, if it weren't for Timo Glock, would have cost future on-track rival Lewis Hamilton his first World Championship. He moved on to the main team for 2009, picking up the team's maiden victory in China. Following that, he picked up 3 more wins that year to finish 2nd in the championship. In the next 4 seasons, Seb would amass 34 victories on the way to 4 straight Drivers' World titles and helping the team to 4 straight Constructors titles. During this time, he set multiple new records in F1, including most wins in a season, podiums in a season and poles in the season. The introduction of new regulations in 2014 caused Red Bull to struggle compared to previous years, with Seb picking up his first full winless season in F1, and it led to his departure at the end of the 2014 season, with him being the most successful driver to date for the team. After Red Bull, Seb moved to Ferrari to try and emulate his idol Michael Schumacher in winning a title with the Scuderia. As of now, Seb has failed to win a title, with his closest finishes being 2nd in 2017 and 2018 behind Lewis Hamilton and the dominant Mercedes team, while picking up 13 victories during his time at the Maranello squad. Sebastian Bourdais. The Frenchman from Le Mans, and second Sebastian on this list, joined Toro Rosso in 2008 after 4 straight Champ Car titles. Bourdais from Team Seb struggled to get to grips with F1 compared to his younger teammate, only picking up 2 7th place finishes in 2008, one of which was his debut in Australia after crashing out, but still picking up points due to completing 90% of the race distance. In 2009, he grabbed 2 8th place finishes before being dropped by the team after the German Grand Prix that year. After leaving F1, Bourdais was firstly a Peugeot LMP1 driver for numerous years, in which he had been during his time with Toro Rosso before he entered F1. He finished runner-up at the 24 Hours of Le Mans 3 times between 2007 and Peugeot's last Le Mans to date, 2011. In 2011, he returned to American open wheel racing with a partial schedule for Dale Coyne Racing, before returning full-time in 2012 with Dragon Racing. As of 2019, he currently drives for the Dale Coyne team once again, and his most recent victory being St Petersburg 2018. Alongside IndyCar, he has been a Daytona 24 Hours overall winner in 2014 with Action Express, before working with Chip Ganassi's Factory Ford GT program from 2016 onwards. This run with Ford has included class victories at both the Daytona 24 Hours and the Le Mans 24 Hours. Sebastian Buemi. And that's the hat-trick of Sebastians. Jesus, during the late noughties, I reckon Helmut Marko's office was just filled with pictures of famous Sebastians, because Red Bull seemed to hire all of them during this time. Anyways, on to Buemi. The Swiss driver was at the Toro Rosso team for 3 solid seasons before being dubbed out of the race seat at the end of 2011. Seb was unfortunate to be in the Red Bull system when it was stacked with talent waiting to get in and a blockage at the top. After losing his race seat, he became the team's reserve driver for numerous years and still is currently their reserve driver, alongside having a highly successful career outside of F1. This has included 2 Le Mans 24-hour victories and 2 world titles in the WEC as part of the Toyota LMP1 programme. He has also competed in every season of Formula E to date as part of the Renault and now Nissan Edams team, with a title coming in the 2015-16 season. Jaime Alguersuari. The Spaniard joined the team during the 2009 season, replacing Bourdais from Hungary onwards that year. At the time, he became the youngest driver to ever start a GP, being 19 years and 125 days old. Jaime remained at Toro Rosso until the end of 2011 like his teammate Buemi, with his best season being the 2011 season, picking up 26 points. After F1, Jaime did a season of the ADAC GT Masters in Germany with Rowe Racing, and then joined Virgin for the inaugural Formula E season to limited success. He had a best result of 4th that season in Buenos Aires before leaving the team before the final rounds of the season and retiring from motorsport in 2015 to concentrate on a career as a professional DJ full-time. Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo began his racing F1 career with HRT in 2011, when Red Bull bought him a seat to replace the cucumber known as Narain Carter from Britain onwards. He moved up to Toro Rosso for 2012 and stayed at the team for 2 seasons, recording a best result of 7th twice, before replacing fellow Aussie Mark Webber at Red Bull for 2014. Daniel spent 5 years with Red Bull, picking up 7 victories during his time with the team and a best championship position of 3rd in 2014 and 2016, with his 2016 season having a total points tally of 256 points, despite only picking up 1 win that season in Malaysia. Daniel left the team at the end of the 2018 season to join Renault for 2019. Jean-Eric Vergne. Vergne was Ricciardo's teammate for the 2012 and 2013 seasons at Toro Rosso and was very competitive against Daniel in their 2 seasons together, scoring a better race finish with 6th in Canada in 2013, but failed to beat him in the championship standings over the 2 seasons, and then was subsequently overlooked for the 2014 Red Bull seat when Mark Webber retired. Jeff spent 1 more season in F1 with Toro Rosso before being dropped at the end of 2014. Since leaving F1, Vergne has become a prominent figure in Formula E, starting off with Andretti and then moved to Virgin before finally ending up with Chatita in 2016. Jeff has picked up back-to-back titles in 2017-18 and 2018-19 with the Chatita team. Alongside Formula E, Jeff has become a regular competitor in the European Le Mans Series for G-Drive Racing and has helped the team win the title in the LMP2 class in 2018. Daniel Kvyat. The man who brought to light just how cutthroat the Red Bull umbrella of teams can be if required. The Russian joined Toro Rosso for the 2014 season after winning the GP3 title the season before. Kvyat had a solid first season in the sport, picking up 5 points finishes in a team that at the time was struggling to finish races thanks to the Renault Hybrid's inability to function for more than 10 minutes before self-destructing. Was called up to race for Red Bull in 2015 after Vettel's departure to Ferrari and had a solid year for the team, finishing 7th in the championship, including a 2nd as part of a double podium in Hungary, which was about as good as Red Bull's dismal by today's standards 2015 season got. In 2016 was the start of a nightmare period for the Russian. After scoring a podium in China, he was unceremoniously dumped out of the team and back to Toro Rosso after causing a crash in his home GP. He apparently found out while watching Game of Thrones, so it couldn't have been a more relevant show to be watching for the cutthroat nature of Red Bull. Daniel finished the season with Toro Rosso and stayed there until the middle of 2017 when he was unceremoniously dumped again for failing to get points finishes on a regular basis. The story doesn't end there, as the now 25-year-old Daniel is back with Toro Rosso in 2019 after a year with Ferrari as a development driver. He has impressed in his return season with solid and consistent results, along with a shock podium in the chaotic 2019 German Grand Prix. Max Verstappen. Now onto the man that replaced Kvyat at Red Bull in 2016. Max joined Toro Rosso in 2015, aged only 17, after a single season of car racing in F3. During his debut season, he became the youngest ever driver to compete in a GP in Australia, and then the youngest to score points at the next race in Malaysia with 7th place. Max finished the season 12th in the championship with 49 points. Max started 2016 with Toro Rosso before replacing Kvyat at Red Bull from Spain onwards. The team claimed it was due to poor performances from Kvyat, but realistically, and I believe, It was because Marco had a raging erection for Max and was desperate for him to be in the main team. In all fairness, he promptly delivered, with a victory in his debut race for the team at Spain and became the youngest ever GP winner. As of 2019, Max has remained with the team since that race, picking up 7 wins and 27 podiums during his term with the Milton Keynes-based squad. The still 21-year-old has just recently picked up his first pole position in Hungary, making him the 100th man to ever start on an F1 pole position. Carlos Sainz Jr. The Spaniard, who is the son of former World Rally champion Carlos Sainz, was teammate for Max in 2015. He didn't shine as brightly as his younger teammate, but still had a solid debut season, picking up a best result of 7th in the USA. Carlos stayed with the team for another season and a bit, building himself into firmly the better of the 2 Toro Rosso prospects at the time, which, let's be honest, wasn't overly hard considering Kvyat's confidence was shattered so much that he was left with about as much confidence as a virgin in a strip club. His best finish came with 3 races to go before he left the team, with a 4th in Singapore 2017. Sainz left Toro Rosso for Renault in 2017 with 4 rounds to go to replace Jolyon Palmer for the rest of the season and the following season. At Renault he was solid but wasn't quite as consistent as his teammate Nico Hülkenberg over the course of the season, finishing 10th in the standings with 53 points and a best finish of 5th in Azerbaijan before signing with McLaren for 2019. As of August 2019, before the Belgian Grand Prix, Carlos is already on for his best season of F1 to date, sitting 7th in the championship with 58 points with McLaren. Pierre Gasly. Now on to the Frenchman that has now been given the Kvyat treatment and the reason for this whole video in the first place. Pierre joined Toro Rosso towards the end of 2017, replacing Kvyat for every Grand Prix except USA due to his Super Formula commitments that season. He came into the team on the back of winning the 2016 GP2 title. He completed the full 2018 season with the Faenza-based squad, picking up a best finish of 4th in Bahrain, which also happened to be his first point-scoring finish in F1. He finished the year 15th in the championship with 29 points, and was promoted to Red Bull for 2019 due to Ricciardo's departure for Renault. During his time with the main team, he was inferior to Max, struggled to match Max on a regular basis, failed to score a podium, and has now subsequently been dropped back to the Toro Rosso team for the Belgian Grand Prix onwards. Brendan Hartley. Okay, this is when we knew Red Bull was starting to struggle to get talent as of late. No offence to Brendan, as he has made a career as a top quality LMP1 driver, winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2017 and 2 WEC titles in 2015 and 2017. But he was sacked off from Red Bull's academy nearly a decade earlier before getting the call to drive for Toro Rosso in 2017. Brendan came in to replace Sainz for the last 4 rounds of 2017 before being given the drive on a full-time basis for 2018. Hartley struggled to adapt to F1 after years of LMP1 racing, only picking up 4 points over the course of the season, with a best result of 9th in the USA. The GP he made his debut at a season earlier before being dropped at the end of the season. As of August 2019, Brendan is back in WEC, firstly as a replacement for Jenson Button at S&P Racing at the Sebring round of the Super Season, and now as a full-time driver as part of Toyota's LMP1 program. He replaced Alonso for the 2019-2020 season in the 8 car alongside Nakajima and former Toro Rosso driver himself, Sebastian Buemi. He is also combining WEC this season with a Formula E assault with the Geox Dragon team for 2019-2020. Alexander Albon. Now on to Gasly's replacement, Alexander Albon. The Brit-born Thai driver signed with Toro Rosso for 2019 after originally signing to race in Formula E with Nissan Edams for the 2018-2019 season. Alex came into Toro Rosso after finishing 3rd in F2 the previous season with Dams, behind fellow F1 drivers George Russell and Lando Norris, and the season before finishing 2nd in GP3 behind Charles Leclerc. His best finish so far in 2019 is 6th in Germany, but he should improve on that with a promotion to the Red Bull team for the remainder of 2019. So that has been Red Bull and Toro Rosso drivers. Where are they now? Hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you want to see any changes and want to see more of this content, let me know down in the comments, and you could also leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel will be really appreciated. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.